Alright, we're back. Again, I'm sorry for not playing this as much as I should, but good lord, there's a billion games out there that I gotta record. And like, next to no time. Which makes it hard. Okay, so I'm gonna go chop down some trees. I gotta go get some more, carbon. I know I said I was gonna give myself a bunch of resources. I think I'm still kind of committed to the idea of that. Apparently you can go put down a bunch of... Oh, God. Hopefully that doesn't stick. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm having... I'm not going to say a bad week. I'm having really bad luck with this game. Because the last time I played it, it was on my new computer. Problem is, that actually well, it didn't destroy my computer. My computer did not survive the process of the first recording session. So, I guess 2 episodes ago on YouTube, I more or less ended things more or less being like, yeah, I'm gonna come back to this on a new computer, because it's not running well on my older computer. And so then I did. I came back to it, but it wasn't running better. I wasn't really sure why at the time. The answer was actually because, my computer was running, the processor was running over 100 degrees Celsius, which... For people that don't know, that's way beyond safety, like, specifications, as far as, like, processors go. It's not the kind of temperature you want your computer running at. And so I was just like, okay, well, this is frustrating. I don't know why it's doing this, but I guess we're just going to, I guess we're gonna try and figure out, like, what's going on, and so on and so forth. I spent, like, I think an entire day trying to diagnose what was wrong with it. Nothing. And of course, I also spent most of that day on tech support being like, can I return this? Because there's something seriously wrong with this processor. And they're like, did you try the cooler? Are the fans going? Did you restart the computer? I'm like, good God, yes. But yeah, it could have boiled water, which is stupidly hot. For frame of reference, I think my processor is currently running at, like, I think half that temperature, which, like, is still pretty hot. 50 degrees Celsius is not something that you want to touch, but it's not like going to destroy your computer levels. So eventually I'd pop the thing out, box it up, send it away, get the next one. And then I also find out that the hard drive that I was recording on was completely busted as well. So I guess for people watching on YouTube, you might have noticed that everything looked kind of crappy in comparison to, like, what I usually put out. That's because I had to grab the VODs. For those of you on Twitch, I would love to present the same level of, like, visual quality as my recordings are. But then again, I guess YouTube butchers everything anyway, so what am I apologizing for? Not my fault. There's not a whole lot I can do. But yeah, so it turns out my hard drive on my computer is bungled as well. I've tried contacting Western Digital to be like, yo, something's wrong with this, and, like, how do I fix it? And they haven't responded. It's this shitty thing, too. It's like, you know, here's the receipt for your tech support message. We'll respond in 3 days, or we're just gonna close the thread and not respond to you at all. And it's just like, wait, how does that work for tech support? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it was giving me, like, cyclic disk read error warnings or something like that. I'd have to look up the codes. And also, like, can't read from source file or disk. Which, as far as I could tell, was either bad sectors on the hard drive, which wasn't. I actually did, like, a bunch of... it was weird. I did a bunch of, like, hard drive, like, health checks, and it said it was totally fine. But no matter what I do, I can't take files off of it. I can write to it, but I can't remove anything. Which is confusing. And it's not a read-write issue. Like, I've gone through pretty much all of the basic recommended steps to get the thing working, and nada, I don't have anything. Which is annoying, because I would very much like to have a functional computer. So I guess my next step is RMAing the drive and being like, give me a new one that doesn't work, or that does work, not doesn't work. Sorry, I can word sometimes, kind of, sort of. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll be able to get it like up and running and fully functional by the time I'm back from PAX. But like, this is 100% not the kind of thing I needed right now, because all of my efforts should, for the most part, be dedicated to editing, rendering, and getting all my videos queued up and put on YouTube and so on and so forth, as opposed to fiddling with how do hard drives work? How do you know when your hard drive is just dead or fixable? That is a giant tree. I'm going to kill it. Let's see. When you built your first computer, you left the protective film on. You didn't realize until the processor was too hot for your liking. Ouch. Let me think. Yeah, no, I actually don't know what was wrong, because I had plenty of thermal paste. The cooler was on right. And while, like, the Wraith box coolers are not the best, they weren't, like, that crappy either. So I don't know. It'll just remain a mystery, and hopefully the new processor works better. It worked better this time around, so it's good. I said that is different for solid-state drives than classical drives. Yeah. My solid-state drive worked flawlessly. No problems at all. It was just my you know, disk drive was not happy. Platter? Hard disk? I don't know. I used to live in a computer science frat. It was always kind of nice when you had tech problems, because you could go to somebody and ask them for help. Unfortunately, anybody that knew what they were doing generally wasn't that interested in helping, just because they had their own stuff to work on. And anybody that didn't know, but was enthusiastic about helping, usually would make things worse. I had a friend who had computer troubles within like a week of moving into college. And I think his laptop got passed between like 5 different people and ended up with like several different distros of Linux on it by the time he was done. What is going on with this tree? It is just peeing blood. I will put it out of its misery. Now space is peeing blood. That's a big tree. I'm going to vibrate it to death. Okay. Should probably... my house? Oh, my house is over there. Yeah. I'm gonna just head back to my house. Just suddenly thinking about this. Yeah, Wander, try not to put space out of its misery. I live in space, it's where I keep all my stuff. There's something really terrifying about how big space is. And I realized, like, it's one of those where, like, as a regular human being, I have no need to even conceive of how large the universe is. But the idea of there being that much empty space around me is mildly disquieting. Like, the world is already big enough, as far as I'm concerned. Once you start trying to think of, like, yeah, there's, like, a near infinite number of planets just kind of around here. I don't know. I've been going through a period of extreme existential dread ever since the end of Outer Wilds. And I haven't really broken myself out of it. It's not too bad, but it's kind of one of those where it's, like, it sucks a little bit because, like, there's enough, like, I don't even know how I would describe it, necessarily. Other than just, like, I don't like thinking about, the heat death of the universe. I don't like thinking about, human mortality, or, you know, even, the mortality of the human race as a whole. And stuff like global warming and whatnot is definitely, like, bugging the shit out of me right now, because it's just like, yeah, that's the kind of thing that really could put a dampener on your day. And, you know, as a person that just sits around trying to make people feel better about, you know, their lives and so on and so forth, it's sometimes a little bit worrying, I guess. I forgot to turn this on. Son of a butt. Alright, whatever. Do I have anything here? Let's see, we don't need hazard protection. Unfortunately, we're going to have to go elsewhere to really make use of, well, to actually learn things. I still don't think that's all the tech, because there's, like, mining rigs you can get. But I think at some point I need to, like, sit down and find somebody else that has played Outer Wilds and just, from, like, my friend group. I need to force somebody in my friend group to play Outer Wilds and be like, speak with me about the horrors of the universe for a while. Because, like, No Man's Sky puts it in this kind of, like, these clustered little vignettes. And it's kind of comforting because all the planets are, like, within reach. But straight up, like, the idea that we're just on a rock hurtling through space at high speeds. Like, when you start putting life into a different perspective like that, it's just like, oh yeah. Then you start thinking about all the stuff that can go wrong. Like, I don't know, random asteroids hitting Earth. Like, there's the random asteroid that hit, I think, Jupiter fairly recently, and I'm sure Jupiter just crushed it into dust. But that sort of thing is terrifying to me, because it's just like, yeah, it'd be pretty bad if we just suddenly randomly all got killed at once. I mean, obviously, not much you can do about it, but like, the idea of us being one of the only... Well, I don't know. There's a lot of things. Like, the idea of being the only intelligent life in the universe is kind of both comforting and terrifying, because that means that, like, if it kind of... Okay, if we're the only ones in the universe, then one, are we the only ones that ever made it this far? Are we the first person, are we the first intelligent life to make it to this level of technology? Yeah, I'm thinking of the Great Filter. Great Filter is terrifying. But even beyond that, like, even if the Great Filter is just theoretical and we don't actually have that big of a deal, I mean, realistically, our Great Filter is probably going to be some kind of technological limitation that makes it so we can't actually, like, traverse the universe very well, and we just run out of resources before we can go too far, which would be a shitty filter, but that's the most likely thing I can think of. But, like, if humans are the only intelligent life in the universe, that means... I wouldn't say that the universe has one shot before to be understood by some... I don't know, this is kind of weird and dumb, but, like, if we mess it up, like, there's not somebody else that's gonna, like, pick up the pieces, and that's weird and kind of upsetting to me. I think, again, to go back to the Outer Wilds thing, you know, the person, the main character at the very end finds the Eye of the Universe, and then, like, creates the second universe, effectively, or, you know, perpetuates the cycle or something like that. And it's like, I don't know. It's weird and horrifying. I don't want to turn this into some kind of, like, religious argument, or even, like, the existence of some kind of divine. I swear I have a lot more carbon than that. Every time I look at that, it says, like, 122 carbon. And I've got so much more. I don't know. That's weird. I doubt we're the only intelligent life. In a nigh infinite universe, I'd expect there to be something. Yeah, I would too. And I hope so. So what do we want to do? Because this is boring. Let's see. Can I get another portable refiner? In fact, I can. I even have one. I should probably get the better refiner at some point. We should see what I can make now that I'm thinking about it. Well, I'm gonna put that in. I think I gotta process that like several times, which is not fun. Okay, so nutrient processor. Or is a hermetic seal, metal plating. I think that's outside of my immediate scope, though. What about general? So health station, but I need uranium, so that's out. Storage. I could do storage. For some reason, it will not snap to these, which pisses me off to no end. Oh. Freighter storage. That'll be cool. Let's see. Farming, we don't know anything for farming. Power industry. Unfortunately, most of my power... I could make a bunch of solar panels, but this planet is bad. Ah, God. Wait, didn't we... Power and industry. Oh, do I not even... I don't even have the tech to make the better refineries. Okay. Well, considering that's boring, and I don't like waiting around, I'm just gonna wander off. We want to go find some scavenged tech pieces, and this planet's pretty good for it. I think that's what I'm going to... I think that's what I'm going to work on, at least for now. Music for this is pretty dang good. I really like 65 Days of Static. I've been a little bit disappointed that they've been so focused on working on the No Man's Sky soundtrack, as far as I can tell, that I'm a little bit saddened that they haven't been making their own stuff recently. But I'll take what I can get. Okay. We have another knowledge stone over there. Let's see. Now, have I used all of these? I've used these two. What about this one? Yeah, since they're lit up, looks like it. Well, we do have those nav points there. But I'm gonna go for that buried tech. Because I think that's what I need. Oh, I wonder if the mod... it's too late to grab it today. Probably. But there was a really... Wow. I swim fast underwater. Really wish it wouldn't immediately take me to emotes every single time. But whatever. Why is this planet called Fishmouth? This was not Fishmouth originally. I like this game, but definitely needs some more QA. I think they've been kind of good at it, but it's still annoying. Especially because I don't think this planet deserves the name Fishmouth. It's a very pretty blue planet. Yeah, we gotta get a lot of those tech things. And so this time around, I'm going to go on a giant spree to get more. Just because I can. We probably stop for, like, mining resources, but that doesn't sound very enjoyable to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna wander around for a while. Okay. Brain manipulator. Let's see. Got anything else? We got a knowledge stone. Oh. That's a lot closer. Yeah, we might as well hit up a bunch of knowledge stones as we go along. Okay. So we got another knowledge stone there. Buried tech. Anything else nearby? I mean, obviously. Just the question of what. So I'm just gonna keep heading for knowledge stones. Man, there's a... I remember there was also another mod that I really liked. In the previous update that made it so you ran like 2 to 3 to 5 times faster. We might actually want to sit down and just look up some mods real quick. See if there's anything else new that's come out. Because the last time I went checking was like almost a week ago or something. Oh. I missed that. I missed that. I missed that. Man. I've also, I don't know. I think my head's been kind of in a bad place for the past year. Just beyond like Outer Wilds, which again, amazing game and definitely like a really positive story despite the sadness of it all. But I've been going through a lot of like this weird survivorship bias. Survivorship bias, or oh, man, I don't even know what I want to describe it as. Did I get that? Whoa. Yeah, I already got that. Giant cave in the hill. That is a very pretty giant cave, but giant cave in the hill. Let's see. Okay, I haven't gotten these. But one thing I've been kind of noticing, I don't know if it's obvious. I don't even know if people even look at my metrics ever. I'm assuming most people watching this probably have heard of Social Blade at this point. But it's a website that lets you track other YouTubers' metrics. It's not exact. In fact, it's pretty exact. It definitely gets the views correct for the most part. It doesn't get the money correct because it varies on a YouTuber to YouTuber basis. But I've been browsing that site every once in a while because my channel will be 6 years old in 2 weeks from today. I think almost exactly 2 weeks from today. I started my channel on my birthday, more or less. And so it's easy to... it's easy to kind of track that one. But so... 6 years on YouTube is not a small amount of time. I've known channels that have been around for ages, like way longer. But at this point, they're actually starting to become kind of few and far between. Let's see. Oh. I have a buried tech module that I'm standing right on top of. Probably use that. But like, how many of the big, old, great YouTubers still, like, operate often nowadays? And how many of them have mostly switched over to, like, pure Twitch? Like, of all the channels that I used to watch when I first started, I think only a handful of them are still, like, up and running and whatnot. Or at least growing. Like, I know, what's a good example? Like, I know Nanners was one of the first YouTubers I ever watched. And I think he switched over to real estate, which actually is probably a brilliant idea, because that's probably less stress. Maybe less work for him and a couple other things. Let's see, was this worth it? What did I get out of it? It's like some amount of nanites. I'll take what I can. Let's see. And we do not have any Atlas passes. I should probably consider using a signal booster to actually look for some of these things. Don't know if I'm going to do so, though. No, we want to keep going for buried tech. Am I even getting a whole lot of buried tech out of this? I got 14. That's not bad. It's still pretty damn slow. I was hoping research would actually be something that you could do passively in this one instead of having to go dig it up constantly. Maybe there's a way to do it. But effectively, I have this, like, I guess it's actually kind of in line with the exact same feeling of, like, the Great Filter of what's the point that, that starts, like, killing channels on YouTube and Twitch and whatnot. Let's see. And so, yeah, I've just been, like, lurking through other people's metrics trying to figure out, like, yeah, what does kill YouTube channels? And the answer is apparently quite a lot of things, and that's been, like, dragging me down. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like to be, like, stuck in my head. I prefer to constantly be, like, working on new things. Whoa. The hell? It's like a vertical wall of grass. I love it. I don't know. I guess it's one of those where it's like most YouTubers are focused on, you know, did I get that? Yeah, I got that. Most YouTubers are focused on, like, how do I grow? And then once you get there, the real answer is, how do I keep this? How do I not, How do I not tank my channel at some point? Then I've also had, like, a lot of my, my heroes, like, get caught up in, like, scandals and stuff. Well, yeah, sort of, actually, most recently. Hey, thank you, Modmaker, for the 12-month resub. Let's see. Good time's the charm. Yay for 1 full year. Hear anything good about Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey? Oh, yeah, we can talk about that game. That'll get me off this topic, because, like I said, I'm stuck in my head. I gotta do, like, a podcast again, or something, and just, like, talk about other topics with human beings. Because other than talking to Michelle, I actually pretty much don't talk to people. And that's a bad. Let's see. Anyway, Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I have a copy of it, actually. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to cover it, personally. Mainly, one, because I'm leaving tomorrow for, I'm leaving tomorrow for PAX. We're driving up to Seattle tomorrow evening, and we're not going to be back until Monday. And by the time Monday rolls around, it'll be what? That's September 2nd? Which gives me a couple of days to scramble, get my backlog back up in order, before I start getting inundated in a bunch of new games. And I didn't hear the greatest things about Ancestors. I heard it was interesting, but I also heard that it was, like, you know, not made that well comparatively. I also heard it was one of those that it's kind of roguelike-y. If you lose your whole tribe, you have to start over from scratch. And, like, I'm sure that wouldn't actually be that big of a deal, but outside of games like Undermine, outside of very short play roguelikes, I actually really do not like permadeath mechanics. I don't enjoy permadeath if it means anything more than an hour loss, tops. Which is why you'll probably never see me do hardcore runs of, I mean, most games. Hardcore Spore was fun, but that's because it was a laugh. And also, like, who cared?